All right, let's do this. Underdog Daily was going to be for the members only, but I had scheduled the previous one to not be. So we're rolling with it for everybody. Appreciate everyone joining. I'm sure there's going to be a slower trickle in than usual at an odd time right now because we had a very interesting situation in the Fastball Friday, and we got to get the content out there early today. I was just finishing up at the gym, and I was like, you know what? I can book it home and get this thing started for the people. Saw a little bit of stuff taking place in the Discord there. So the baseball slate has been moved up. So it's going to be 4:30 p.m. Eastern lock due to some looming weather in the Baltimore area. So they want to make sure they can get that game in. So we got to take care of business. This is going to be a little bit more like a members only stream where it's a little bit of how the sausage is getting made because at this point, I've usually done about 10, 15 baseball drafts and have done all my preliminary research. I have done a fraction of my preliminary research and like 5 drafts as of today. This window of time when I get home, this next 2 hours, is when I really start cramming for the show. So, unfortunate scenario there. I guess there's 2 ways to handle it. It's either you slap out tags on everybody and then get swap city going on, or you play it as it lies and eat a little bit of overlay and move it up. From the provider's standpoint, I think I would have opted for the swap options here. It's not like a 4-game or a 5-game Wednesday and Thursday slate where these guys are getting drafted a lot and the pitchers aren't getting drafted at all. So I think I probably would have just turned 13 games into 12 and made the people drafting Baltimore just swap off it a little bit. I'd only seen one Miguel Vargas share go, and Baltimore, I only saw myself and Car Park doing left-handed Baltimore stacks. I really like the spot for left-handed Baltimore today in general. But this is good for the players. This is good for the players because now we might get a little bit of overlay, which makes every dollar you put into this contest today worth a little bit more. So this is going to be a contest that's worth chasing, hence pushing up the program to talk through it and give you guys some alpha, that sort of thing. Let's get into it. Loaded night last night. Shout out to the community. Shout out to our guy Juan Torres, who was hanging out in the chat, who gave us the OG stocks pick from yesterday. We got to look at the results from yesterday real quick here. Results, pick them. The home run stuff did not get home. Varsho didn't play, which was unfortunate, I guess, because that team went nuke, but lefty made sense. But we got this bad boy home with the Benny Math, good Canadian kid, getting it done for us. And then a bunch of lowers. That Mitch Robb lower sweat was a little dicey at the beginning of the game there when he was like 6-6 in the first 19 minutes. But then they just went with the OG closing lineup with Hart on the floor instead of him. And he barely played in the second half, which was wrapped into the thesis there. And then the Deuce McBride, he got a dime on the very last possession when it was just pure garbage time and the bench was in there. We were hoping it wasn't get a shot up there. So that was a little sweaty. And then this was the Nez plus community one. Shout out to Juan for this pick here. And then the Never Halley just absolutely cooked last night. Brunson was sitting on 30 points for what felt like an eternity when they had the bench in there. And then he comes in and he gets a bucket on maybe his 4th or 5th possession down the floor in the 4th quarter there. But he was sitting on that 30 for like a long time, and it was kind of dicey for a minute there. But this is good. This is good. Yes, actually an emergency show. You're right, Tyler. Yeah, we got to get this one in for the people here to get the MLB alpha going. We'll start with bittersweet here. The end of an era last night. The bittersweet to be the end of basketball. This was our final 2-game hoops slate of the season, but a very fitting ending to a good basketball season. Our guy Car Park, I'm wearing my Dirty Hands Clean Money in his honor. No luck, all work. Mad shout out to the guy. Jumped onto the platform. I mean, I hadn't seen him prior to about a calendar year ago, and he has taken this site by storm. One of the best players on the site, hands down, a beautifully well constructed lineup. It had that combination we talked about yesterday, where you had SGA, Chet, and then the Hart fall. And then if you, that Indy piece was going to be the one that you needed, Hartenstein mattering in the last round. Caruso pulled up to the 101 for combinatorial purposes because Caruso was falling a little bit earlier. So just beautifully constructed one of one lineup there from him. Shout out there. And then in the baseball streets, you're welcome, Numi. I went in there and donated in the big fly for you. You're welcome. Give a little shout out to Mike, Chris, and Andrew, all at the top here, all members of the program, all friends and family, taking down some big prizes in the $100. And then in the main contest, our guy, Justin Long, formerly of Unabated, friend of the show here with that Tampa Bay four-man stack. We talked about Tampa being our favorite stack on the slate. It wasn't the GM in parentheses of Aranda plus Brandon Lau that you needed. It was Aranda plus Lowe, and then Junior coming to life with a home run, 6 RBIs. Beautiful constructed lineup here with SP2 to start it off, and then Austin Riley as the one-off, in which you needed a contrarian one-off, but a talented one. Vin Deep all up here, all over it too. To prove it's not a fluke, Justin's up here twice. Chris is up here in this one too. Gut P. Love to see it, man. Big congratulations to you guys. And then in the NHL streets, Edmonton took care of business last night. We got a rematch in the Stanley Cup Finals. Really looking forward to that one. 5-on-5 numbers from last year's finals, Stanley Cup Finals, versus this year. They were even in goals for. They were even in shot attempts. They were even in everything. So this is going to be a hell of a series. Really looking forward to that one. Some nasty travel from, furthest point to lowest point in North America, basically. But yeah, it'll be a great series here. Shout out to Ken49. You did need the Sebastian Aho plus Seth Jarvis there. And then Sam Bennett, who had the empty net goal. Jason Robertson had a beautiful snipe last night. Aaron Ekblad mixed in. And then Bobrovsky. Ottinger got pulled after 2 shots in that one. And yeah, pretty quick hook, if you ask me, though he hadn't been very good in the series. All right, there's our breakdown, recap of last night. Now let's get right into it with the baseball stuff here. We're going to do I'm going to do, Nez has got his sister in town visiting, I imagine probably first time meeting Mello. So that's awesome for them. Happy for them. Let's start with the full what I would do if you guys weren't here. Here's what we do. We start with the weather, of course. As mentioned before, this Baltimore game has been moved up. There's still a little chance of a little something happening there, but that one's built up. This Phillies Milwaukee's not on our slate. Colorado and the Mets here. That one is in, what is it called? Flushing Meadows? Is that what you guys call Flushing Meadows? Is that the area there in New York where the ballpark's located? And then we got this LA at Cleveland. Evergreen reminder that Cleveland plays better for left-handed than right-handed, and the wind tunnel moves out that way. It sounds like off and on showers, but Ross convinced they play through it. And then this Boston Atlanta game, which is a really popular game on our slate right now. Temperatures a little bit up and wind blowing up in hot Atlanta. That is only 74 degrees. When I was looking earlier, I was anticipating it being a little hotter than that. So not a ton to worry about. We're going to end up with 13 games. Just the big nugget, if you are slow to trickle in, is this is starting early. It's starting at 4:30 p.m. Eastern. Our site is today, so get in there. We don't want to be caught with the overlay, but start chasing that overlay, because without that extra 3 hours there, that is good for the players. Okay, it's Flushing, not Flushing Meadows. Okay, I got you. Thank you. I'm learning my boroughs of New York there. I've actually never been to New York, which is kind of weird, to be honest. I don't know why. Had the good fortune of going a lot of nice places, but just for whatever reason, haven't found my way to a reason to go to New York outside of just pure travel. One oddity, one weird wrinkle associated with this slate today, obviously the game being pushed up, is we're probably not going to have lineups. So for us to get deep into the weeds here, we're going to have to make some like concerted decisions and intelligent estimations on who's going to be in these lineups today. Some stuff that comes to mind is like Atlanta yesterday using Acuna in both games. I still anticipate Acuna playing today, but I know the plan yesterday was to only use him in one, and then he was pinch hit for. Sean Murphy played the first one of that. Baldwin played the second at catcher there. So I imagine we get Sean Murphy back in there today, but you never know. They might go with the handedness advantage and go with Drake Baldwin against Lucas Giolito. Mike Trout expected to be back today. He has the probable tag on our site. Not an amazing hitting environment or matchup for him, but we know what Mike Trout can do with the bat, and he is fun to draft. So, just expecting him back today. Christian Walker, who got hit on the hand, I guess it was 2 days ago, then went out, played the field, and then before his next at-bat was lifted. He missed last night's game. I'm anticipating missing this evening as well. But that being said, there's a non-zero chance. Also, the Yordan Alvarez situation, the saga that keeps going on here. I'm not expecting him back tonight, but he had a Q tag yesterday, and he had a Q tag. Let me double check that he still has the Q tag right now. Yeah, he still has the Q tag right now. It's not definitive that he's not coming off the IL, right? So just things to think through there. I think that's all I have on weather. And Julio Rodriguez. Julio Rodriguez got hit in the wrist last night. That's a little scary. He's got the Q tag. I don't know. He was later in the ball game that he got hit on the wrist, and he did not get lifted because he did not have another at bat after that. So I don't know. I'm not sure if he got lifted for the last inning of defensive stuff. I went to bed before watching the tail end of that game where the Nationals went nuke in extra innings there. But okay, cool. Tyler with a good note for me here. Reports are that Yordan's doing live batting practice and won't be up today, likely for this weekend. Okay, so keep your ears to the street because we're not going to have another show until Monday. Yordan's going to be potentially back in the lineup some point in time this weekend against the Rays at home there. The other Q tag, Ketel Marte. Everything I'm reading anticipates him coming back. It was an illness, and he missed the one game. He missed Tuesday, Wednesday, off day Thursday. Ketel coming back tonight. And that matters because they're kind of one of the, despite Jake Irving's recent success, last start out, they are one of the highest implied run totals for a team on the slate right now, pending where you look. Speaking of pending where you look, let's go on to the next phase of the basic preliminary research before I build out my own sheet and stuff. And that would be the ballpark, pal. We could take a look at some of these run totals here. As you guys can see, pending where you look, if we look at unabated, for instance, and we just look at the odds that are taking place in these games and stuff, and you simply look at the run line and total for the game here, we're only getting 9 runs according to the unabated line for this Baltimore game. I was more in line with this thought process here of this 6.9 implied on the Baltimore side and this almost 5 implied on the White Sox side. That probably has something to do with some park factor stuff here that is not reflected. And yep, there you go. Plus 10 to the home runs, plus 12 to the doubles and triples, plus 10 to the singles, and plus 16 total runs scored there. So this is just looking like a great hitting environment, despite there being a little bit of looming rain. And moving it up just makes it a little bit warmer, even so. And then a reminder here, Baltimore park factor for this year, just this year alone, number 1 in all of baseball in terms of park factor, but more importantly, number 1 in terms of home runs by a factor that is 31 greater than the next. And that really plays up for lefties. Because if you switch to left-handedness only, now all of a sudden the benchmark is 100 is normal, or league average is 100. Baltimore's over double league average, 205 park factor for left-handed home runs. So I was doing a whole bunch of Mullins, O'Hearn, Jackson Holiday, Gunnar Henderson as one of the most mispriced guys on the slate, because I'm a little bit of a Sean Burke respector, but not to this extent. This looks like the spot. So the fact that it's been left on the slate means we got to take advantage of it being left on the slate here. I'm not going to get crazy with it, but I'm definitely going to be, building 2-mans, 3-mans, and using Gunnar and O'Hearn both as one-offs in this one. Yeah. Anything else I wanted to say before we go back to no, I think that's all I had to say on that. Yeah. That's all I had to say in terms of the park factor stuff. Let's go back to the ballpark pal. Go check out some of these implied run totals that they have going on here. They were really high on Toronto yesterday, their highest on the slate, and Toronto went nuke to start that game or start that slate. 13 runs scored at home there. Another good underrated park comparative this year to years past. Judging by this number, Giants looking like a good contrarian stack that I haven't seen anyone get to in my lobbies just yet. Guardians a little bit higher than you're here than other places, so just something to think through. Mets a little bit lower than what they're doing on our site. I put Lindor on the cover because I made the cover 3 days ago, and Lindor is an absolute lefty killer. And anytime Lindor's leading off against a lefty, I want pieces of it. But in that park, I don't really love it, man. I really don't love playing the Mets at home. Yeah, that's just my initial thoughts. Yeah, but I kind of just always RIP Shea Stadium, but I'll call it Shea forever, the way that I call the other one Safeco, but or Mariners Park Safeco. But yeah, I don't really like playing them when they're at home. Yeah. Braves came alive a little bit yesterday against Zach Wheeler. That was nice to see. This Braves lineup looking more and more by the day like the lineup that we saw in 2022, 2023, with Acuna back at the top. Albies homered yesterday, which is something we couldn't say for a while. I think he homered twice. I think he homered in both games. Austin Riley went nuke as well there with the 36 fantasy points that we saw in Justin's winning lineup. So yeah, if you want to play Braves today, by all means, against Lucas Giolito, not the arm that he once was there. Haven't seen anyone take Cardinals or Rangers just yet. I think you can get to both definitely today. Let's take a look. Jumping back to ADPs here. Cardinals, yeah, buried there. Libator, and it says Jack Leiter here. I will confirm when we look at starters in a second. But yeah, both of those teams obviously like it better in Texas than in St. Louis. Both of these teams buried right now, and we like playing righties against Libator, right? So, maybe a sneaky Jake Berger home run. While we're here, this is inspiring me. I know Libator keeps the ball on the ground. He is a good ground ball rate guy, if memory serves. Let me double check my work. Jump on over here, look at some of the advanced leaderboard stuff here. Matthew Libator, yeah, only a 21.5 strikeout rate this year. See what some of the batted ball stuff looks like. Libator, yeah, ground ball rate, not crazy. 43. Fly ball rate, 35. I know that's probably hard for you guys to see. Yeah. Some poolside power stuff. Hard contact, 32-4. Yeah, man. This looks like a decent spot for home runs. Let's see what park factors. Let's see what we're seeing here. Am I blind? Am I blind? Am I blind? Texas Globe Light, 5% boost to home runs today. So I don't know if that I mean the roof's closed, right? So I imagine. Yeah, interesting stuff there. Yeah, this is truly the preliminary sausage getting made. Here, as you guys can see, City Field, aka Shea, down here, park factors at Ballpark Pal telling me the story that I kind of already knew when looking at those implied. So, not to say that they can't get home today, but I'm a little more skittish when Mets are stone cold chalk at the top of the board. I think I like playing David Peterson more than I like playing and chasing Mets stacks today. Interesting to see Dodger Stadium playing up here. I mean, that's just a credit to those offenses there. Arizona popping in terms of home runs with all three, Gino and Corbin Carroll, who's Corbin Carroll is my 102 today behind Aaron Judge. That's who I'd been taking. Yeah, not seeing anything Texas related. That's interesting. Okay. We'll take a look at the price tags in the Pick'em lobby. That one felt like a sneaky one to get to, man. When I just saw that, and I know Libator can keep it on the ground, but he doesn't strike out a ton of guys. Let's take a look at Texas here. We'll do the Texas verse. Langford getting a 2.78, not crazy. Josh Young a 3. Adolis a 2.8. Haggerty never. Jonah Heim switch hitter 3.8. Simeon a 3.74. Berger, there you go. 2.13. We need Jake Berger as a contrarian one-off in the last round today. Yep. Confirming my priors. Jake Berger as a contrarian one-off late feels cheeky and sneaky. Like if we do like a little 3-man Arizona stack and then add on O'Hearn, add on Rake Bowers, aka Jake Berger. I said Rake Bowers, didn't I? Getting my Rakes and Jakes mixed up? Not Jake Bauer. Jake Berger. Rake Berger. Yeah, so in terms of home runs, it looks like they're attacking. Yeah, it looks like we're attacking Irvin. And it doesn't really matter the handedness. Yeah, interesting stuff there. So current favorite stacks and plays as we're going through this. It looks like Baltimore, but Baltimore's priced up a little bit. It looks like Texas right-handed one-offs. Obviously, you can play Corey Seager as well, but Texas looks sneaky. Lindor picked a click. Atlanta slightly underpriced outside of Acuna. Arizona not named Carroll. Yeah, these guys are underpriced. I expect Marte back, so you can play Marte. We prefer him against lefties, but we could still play him. Yeah. Okay. That's the preliminary spots that we are enjoyers of thus far. Let's keep grinding. See where we end up. Boston could be fine. Grant Holmes. Yeah. Doesn't really have a fly ball problem. You know who's got a fly ball problem? Sean Burke. 46.7% on the fly balls. Holy shit, Baltimore looks good today. Jake Irving, 42.9% on the fly balls with an 11.1% home run to fly ball ratio. Yeah, man. Arizona looks like my favorite stack. Baltimore looks next. Atlanta looks kind of close. And then some contrarian right-handed Texas bats to round it out. Looks decent right now. Okay, but 13 game slate. We're not going to get overly concentrated. Just seeing what else we like. Let's keep running through some of these run totals. Wow, Detroit with a 5-3-1. If we juxtapose that to, let's see what's going on Roto Grinders here. A 4-3-7 here. Wow, not a Seth Lugo respector over at the ballpark, pal. I will cross-reference our other resource being Derek Carty. Let's take a look at his stacks. Derek Carty has the Detroit Tigers a little bit buried against Seth Lugo, probably about his 10th favorite stack on the slate. So, yeah, maybe, okay, let's take a look at Seth Lugo in particular here. Find out what's going on with Seth Lugo. BABIP of 245. Ground balls is 40. Fly balls is 38.9. Home run to fly balls only 14.3, which isn't like good, but it's like fine. Pull stuff. Hard contact rate 37, which is like not crazy. It's like in the same ballpark as like, it's not with like the good pitchers on the slate, but it's not necessarily like gas canny. What have we been doing here? How did I just lose it? Oh, visual. There you go. Yeah, only a 6.67 K9 right now. Let's see home runs 9. Not terrible. I mean, behind Gosling, behind Burke. Yeah, I don't know. Detroit feels okay, I guess, if you want to get a couple of those lefties at the top. I'll never say no to like Kerry Bonds and Riley Green or like a Torque. So if you want to do like some 2s and 3s, Rays and Astros is going to be pitching only for me. It was a spot we wanted to attack yesterday, but Frammer's just so good at getting ground balls. His hard hit percentage is like slightly alarming, not going to lie. So like mixing in a righty or two isn't the craziest thing in the world, but he's just so good at inducing ground balls. But I would show you the batted ball data from Frammer. Hard hit percentage is the highest on the slate. So there's a little bit of double bubble leverage there if you want to get to attacking Frammer today. I'm not saying you should. He's so good at inducing ground balls, 56.5% on the ground balls. Like guys just don't lift the ball against him. But if you want to go for like some BVP style matchup of like right-handed hitters who hit lefties well, who also have good fly ball percentages, you're probably going to wind up with like some Junior Caminero and maybe a Yandy Diaz or two, although his pull side power isn't quite like a Christopher Morel is. You're going to wind up with like 1 or 2 of them mixed into your player pool for sure. Okay, cool. Let's keep grinding. Let's keep moving here. Nationals are scorching hot right now. They get Merrill Kelly. Merrill Kelly, professional ass right-handed pitcher, but he's going to have to deal with a lineup that has 9 lefties. Left-handed power goes to die in Arizona over the last 3 years of rolling sample in terms of park factor. Here, we'll just use this year's sample. Left-handed power. Arizona is the 4th worst ballpark in all of baseball for left-handed hitters. And it is the 4th worst for home runs. And it's about average in terms of run scoring. So, I mean, it's not a death sentence. But if you switch to rolling 3-year average and then you go take a look, left-handed, home run only, rolling 3-year, It's the second worst park in all of baseball. So, yeah, I would temper my expectations with like CJ and Wood, especially if they're getting drafted every single time. But pairing a couple of them together looks fine. Nathaniel Lowe looks lost at the plate right now versus high fastballs. I was watching a bit of that game last night, and he just looked like meat. But yeah. All right, guys. I think we're doing pretty good. Is this helpful? Tell me in the chat. I know I'm just kind of like spewing and riffing, and it's not as formalized as it usually is. But yeah. All right. Okay. Yes, it is. Uber helpful. Okay, I appreciate you guys. Buxton's back. Okay, that's good to know. A lot of scroll the F down options today from Ricky Lee. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, I didn't know the Buxton was back. We were talking about it earlier, how we might not get lineups. Getting lineups, you're going to get a Twins lineup because the Twins always get it out early. Actually, they're West Coast in Seattle, so who knows? Yeah, Twins, according to Cardi, worst stack on the slate. But if you want a contrarian one-off, like obviously the ballpark's just awful, and Brian Wu is been really good this year. But if you want a contrarian one-off, you could do use worse than Byron Buxton this evening. But if we go back to the ballpark, pal, we're dealing with like a 3.1 implied for them. Yankees are popping for Cardi. They're popping a little bit less so. Oh, sorry, I skipped San Diego and the Pirates here. I'm still a little worried about the way that ballpark is playing right now in terms of the marine layer this early in the season. If we double down on like the weather and we look, San Diego only going to be about 69 degrees at first pitch. Maybe 71 at first pitch, something like that. So, yeah, I'm not in love when it's like in the mid 60s by the fourth inning in San Diego, a place that's tough to hit for righties anyways. Mixing in Fernando Tatis, mixing in Manny Machado, absolutely. Some skinny stacks here and there. We love attacking teams that have bad bullpens and stuff. Pirates are kind of like middle of the range comparatively. Actually, I was doing some bullpen research earlier. Nationals have been god awful. Rockies have been god awful. Arizona was like shockingly mid, I thought. Or maybe I'm misremembering. Because I thought they had a really good pen. Now I'm misremembering and butchering it. I can bring it up in a second and find it. Who was the other one that White Sox hadn't been great? Athletics are awful outside of Mason Miller. Yeah. So just like when we're dealing with slates that we are either shorter dynamics or we have pitchers that are looking to go shorter, it's just good to know who the bad bullpens are. Angels are awful. Angels are bad in terms of their bullpen. So yeah, that was another one that I was looking into. Yeah. Anyways, let's push on here. Yeah, Pirates is going to be just like Pirates and Padres is just going to be one-offs for me, and then pitchers. Playing Mitch Keller is probably not the worst idea in the world today. Like he's been decent, and he's completely contrarian, but it's probably too far a scroll to get like that contrarian at pitcher on a 13-game slate when we just don't have to, right? Like there's very little leverage in taking on that volatility to get 5 extra fantasy points versus like SP5 or whatever, right? So yeah. Yeah, Nick Pivetta, probably my favorite right now on the slate. I mean, him and Frammer are both up there, but I kind of like just cost adjusted. I like playing Pivetta and Wu cost adjusted. So yeah, cost adjusted. Pivetta, Peterson, Wu, Frammer, Bassett, Kelly Eflin, something like that. Sorry, I was doing that without bringing up ADP. There you go. Now I'll visualize it. Now that I've thought out loud. Pavetta, Wu, Peterson. Those ones are interchangeable right there, I think. Then Frammer, Bassett. Fried's been so good this year, but man, it's the Dodgers. And on a 13-game slate, like, you just don't have to play against the Dodgers if you don't want to, right? I guess it's okay. Like, it's nicer that he's left-handed against Ohtani and Freeman, etc. But like, Teoscar Hernandez kills lefties. He has like one of the biggest power surges versus lefties. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I mean, here, just look at the Mitch Keller box scores. 15, 13, 16, 12. And there's some good teams sprinkled in there, you know? He's always going north of 6. The strikeout rates have been high. He hasn't given up more than 3 in his last 4 or 4 in his last 5. Like, I've heard worse ideas than playing Mitch Keller in San Diego. If we were playing this slate 2 years ago, people would be playing the fuck out of Mitch Keller in San Diego before we learned about the left-handed wind tunnel of last year that made the park play a little bit better. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's probably pretty good on pitching. I think Lugo's fine, but as you can see, there's quite polarizing opinions on the value of Tigers stacks, whether you look at Ballpark Pal, whether you look at Cardi, or whether you look at the Roto-Grinders stock implied totals there. There was like 3 very different numbers. So there's some volatility in Lugo. He's also just not a huge strikeout rate guy. One of my favorite things to look at when we're searching for floor, which sounds backwards, that you would look for high strikeout rates for floor. But floor in our games, because run scoring isn't as detrimental to your overarching score, because it's only -1 for a run scored, and we don't get negatives for giving up hits. We just get positives on our site for getting, innings pitched and Ks and stuff. That the only thing you can really count on as like a steady baseline, kind of like football rushing yards, is K rate. And Nick Pivetta is like the safest, highest K rate on the slate, but it's only 28.3%, which is like considerably different than yesterday, where Sale and Wheeler were north of 32 on a 4-game slate. So yeah, prioritizing pitching just like doesn't feel great today, just in general. So I'm playing, the mix and match game, but kind of staying within this band of pitchers. Merrill Kelly's strikeout rate's only 22.7. That's 12th worst on the slate. Zebby Matthews, small sample, but he is, a top end prospect. And if you get no Julio Rodriguez in Safeco Field, a good place to pitch, aka T-Mobile now, maybe you could play like some Zebby Matthews. Kyle Harrison's in a really good place to pitch in Lone Depot, whatever they call it in Miami now. Yeah, so maybe you could play him against that Marlins lineup. But you probably don't have to scroll that far. Staying within this band feels good to me. Yeah, what do we got? We got a Casey Mize shout in the chat. Mize was on fire to start the year there. Still looks pretty good there. Not bad. One of those starts was against Colorado. I guess the one hole you could poke in Mize is he's probably going to see 8 righties? Nah, maybe not that. India, Witt, Perez, Garcia, Drew Waters, switch hitter. So 5. Is Hunter Renfroe on the IL? I think he is. Yeah, he's not even in the player pool. Yeah, so you're going to be missing a righty there. Yeah. Okay. I'll give you Casey Mize. If you want to play Casey Mize as a scroll the F down today, you could do worse. Yeah. I mean, if you're going to be willing to get to Keller It's not that different to get to Mize. So that's kind of like the band of pool, I think. Yeah. Wow, Sale was fastest pitcher ever to 2,500 Ks. I saw him get it last night. I didn't know that. Ooh, Mullins was on the IL. That's pretty big. Wow, there goes one of our left-handed outfield options, which means Heston Kjerstad could move up in the lineup, right? That's not bad. So now just be mindful in our Baltimore stacks that we'll be stacking the middle of the order. Oh, Renfroe got DFA'd. Wow. Okay. I missed that one when we've been paying attention to NBA. I did see Tim Anderson got DFA'd the other day too. End of an era. End of an era. Okay, so that Baltimore stack becomes kind of infield only. Adley is now kind of like the cheapest of the bunch. If you want to play some one-off White Sox, I'm cool with it. If you want to double down on Toronto killing lefties like they did yesterday and play some right-handed Toronto in some 2s and 3-mans, seems fine. Giants are an underrepresented stack. Miami, I probably won't play any of in that ballpark, but they do have some power versus lefties if you want to go to like the Kyle Stowers or whatever of the world. But the problem with playing Miami, sorry guys, I'm bouncing all over the place, but I was trying to do a recap in my mind. Yeah, the problem with playing Miami is all the power I want to play is left-handed, like Kyle Stowers and Jesus Sanchez. So like you could do like Wagaman and Otto, or yeah, I just don't think it's necessary on this slate. Seems a little bit extreme against a guy like Kyle Harrison, who's got a good strikeout rate too. But Giants feel good against Cal Quantrill, even though the park is bad. But the park is almost as bad as their normal home park is anyways. So it's kind of like just playing the Giants at home. And if they were at home against Cal Quantrill, you'd probably play some Giant stacks. So Giants seem fine. Mets, I'm going to be a little bit underweight comparative to the field. I don't think I'll play any Rockies, but I do see the appeal of right-handed Rocky power against David Peterson. So if you wanted to do like one-off Goodman, one-off Tovar, be my guest, but probably not for me today. Guardians, Stephen Kwan may or may not be coming back today. Doesn't matter. I don't play him anyways. But Jose Ramirez just as a one-off there. Angels I'm fine with in general. If you want to do some 2s and 3-mans, but primarily just Trout and Neto as one-offs for me. Maybe a Ward share or two. Baltimore, I'll be under the field Boston, I'll be under the field comparative to where their ADPs currently are, but I don't think it's bad to target Grant Holmes. Braves underpriced outside of Acuna. Braves look like a really good stack to me. Right-handed Rangers, Cardinals minis if you want it. If you want to get there, look sneaky. It is a ballpark upgrade for the Cardinals. They've been in one of the worst hitting environments this season at home at Busch Stadium there. Left-handed Tigers, Royals are probably one-offs only for me in Bobby Witt, and I'll probably be underweight Bobby Witt as is. Rays and Astros are basically write-offs for me unless you want to chase a Rays right-handed home run. Arizona's my favorite stack on the slate. Nationals are fine, but left-handed power goes to die there. Marine Layer at play with San Diego and the Pirates, so probably won't play either unless it's just Tatis, Cruz as one-offs, and then maybe a skinny stack with Brian Reynolds or Manny Machado. Yankees are fine. If you want to attack Tony Gosling, go for it. We got the Cody Bellinger returning to Dodger Stadium narrative there. If you want to go there, I will never say no to playing Yankees or Dodgers, but full stacks look bad to me today. Both teams have good bullpens. Both teams had a day off to start the new series. I don't like the idea of attacking Max Fried. Maybe a Teoscar plus Mookie Betts mini stack of the right-handed contrarian Dodgers to be a little bit different. And then Seattle and Minnesota is pitching only for me. If you want to do a one-off Cal Raleigh, be my guest, but don't love it, to be honest. I think that's the breakdown, guys. I think that's all of it. We can make a couple pick'ems for the home run stuff as we get going. But yeah, I think that's what I got. Did I miss anything? I think we could go back. We can look at Cardi's favorite stacks based on what I just said. He loves the Yankees. Okay. So Yankees are his favorite stack right now. I slightly disagree. Braves, Diamondbacks, Giants as a contrarian one seem good. Cardinals as a contrarian one seems good. Like, let's take a look at Jack Leiter again here for a second. I know this is hard for you guys to see. I'm bouncing all over the place. Jack Leiter, only a 6.59 K per 9. That's good for 17.4% on the season. He's walking 12.2%, which is the worst on the slate outside of Sean Burke. XFIP of 5. I mean, dude's giving up some runs. What else are we looking at here? Let's look at some of the batted ball stuff. Hard contact, second worst on the slate in hard contact, 37.5%. Yep, we're going to want to play some Cardinals today. Little Newt bar, some of the lefties at the top there. Seems good. Yeah. Okay, let's go back to Cardi for a second. Just see who his favorite projected hitters are. I'm exposing all the paywall stuff today, but I told you guys I'd give you the in-depth, the what's going down on everything today because we're doing the research together. He's got Wu as his favorite pitcher on the slate, so we're slightly different there. He's got Merrill Kelly a bit higher than I do, or assume I'll do. I'll build out my sheet after this. He really likes the Judge spot. Acuna, Ohtani, Bobby Witt, Corbin Carroll, right hand. There's your Gunnar Henderson. So he sees what I see with the Gunnar Henderson stuff. Milwaukee, we don't have to worry about because they're not on the slate. Same with Ellie De La Cruz. Same with the Cubs. Lars Nootbaar. There you go. So he's seen what I see too. Very interesting stuff. Mountcastle popping. All right. This looks pretty good. Liam's trying to fill a big dog. Okay, well, fill me in a second when we're done baseball, and then maybe I can. How rich? We will see. Okay, seems good there. Last thing that I will check. What did we do? We did weather. We did the implied totals. We did the game totals at unabated. We did a little bit of lineup stuff that we were just kind of talking through. The last thing we can do is for the believers and the non-believers, a little bit of BVP data. Matt Olson, 4 career home runs off Lucas Giolito. He is hitting .539 in a sample of 15 plate appearances. I don't know when those took place. They could have taken place 9 years ago. Probably not. But they could have taken place, 3-4 years ago. They could have taken place before Giolito was good, then bad, then kind of good again. Who knows? But it's just interesting to look at that Matt Olson, Jose Ramirez, Corbin Carroll, and Josh Bell have had the most home run success out of kind of the grouping here. Juan Soto has a buttload of at-bats versus Kyle Freeland and is hitting under 200 in his career and not going so great right now. Yeah, interesting stuff there. So just take a last little look at that. You love BVP. People are split on it. People are very, very split. I say from an athlete standpoint, there were guys when I was playing baseball, college, etc., like that age era where I was like, oh, I just see this guy like way better. And I couldn't explain it. It wasn't like the best pitcher in the league, the worst pitcher. It wasn't, some guys would have better stuff, but I would hit those guys better than I hit other guys. And it was always just like, there's something real to it in my mind, Whether that's true or not, who knows? The noise from an analytical standpoint, there's so much noise in the samples. Like it's so hard to find meaningful data in BVP, but there's definitely something to certain players just being like, "Oh yeah, I see that guy better." Or that guy's better than it's just interesting. My guy Eggers, pour one out for our guy Oilers in 5. Yeah, I'm sorry, bro. I know you were back-to-back years here with your Dallas Stars there in the conference finals. Man, Ottinger, man, he got thrown under the bus um, by his coach there. Yeah, that was tough to read the quotes there. Ottinger's been bad against the Oilers, but dude, when you're facing power plays against it, when you're facing power plays of McDavid and Dries and Bouchard and these guys, like it's just no goalie's gonna fare well against power plays from them, right? You think he should get oh, it's 3 years in a row. You think he should get canned? I don't know. I think he's a really good coach. That's the problem. But there definitely is merit to like the voice in the room getting stale. Let's switch some things up. Let's take Acuna at 1. I think Judge is the 101. I think Judge will project better, as you saw in Cardi's stuff. I just want to try and build out like a 2-man Atlanta, a 2-man something else, and then like a 1-off or something, and we'll mix it around there. Let's see. Ben saying he fully agrees. It's definitely this is in reference to BVP. It's definitely a real thing. But that being said, it's very noisy. The samples are all tiny or hard to tell what is real and what is random. Exactly, man. That's perfectly articulated. Like, yeah. Goldie owning Lincecum. That's a good callback. That was a big BVP one. Timmy saying Soto going 5 for 5 with 2 bombs today when we don't play him. It would be so in line with 2025. It's so true, man. So true. I mean, I love attacking the Rockies. Kyle Freeland outside of Coors is considerably better in terms of career splits, but like that's true of almost any Rockies pitcher. That also doesn't mean I want to like to not attack him, you know? Like he's still a really gettable guy. But yeah. Let's take a look at the board here, see what's going down. Yeah, Lindor's pushed up, Corbin Carroll to Chris. I've been doing Corbin Carroll over Lindor today. It's just a personal preference thing. I like the Arizona spot. Corbin Carroll's been going so well this year. I like the price tags that you can get his stacking partners at. Whereas Lindor, you kind of fall into this every single time where you're using him as a one-off, unless you want to play Vientos. Vientos was really good against lefties last year for right-handed power, but hasn't been as much so this year. So if you want to turn the clock back to like Vientos and, you know, mix him with Lindor, I wouldn't call you stupid. I would not. If you want to do like that and like Starling Marte for a contrarian Mets 3-man, I'm cool with that. Vientos and Marte could hit like 2nd and 5th or 4th and 5th today. James Wood goes there. Wow, Corbin Carroll plus Shohei Ohtani looks so nice on paper. I did say I like Pavetta the most out of this next grouping of 3, but I also said we were going to do some scrolling. Let's play the BVP hits here. Matt Olson hitting over 500 with 4 bongos off of Lucas Giolito. Let's take that one. We could add Riley to it, but it would be a very repeated stack. You know, the Ozuna, the Riley. So let's go in a different direction. Let's use Gunnar Henderson. Maybe we stack him. Maybe we don't. We will see how this plays out. But we're going to need another outfield option. And now that we lost Cedric Mullins to the IL, yeah, I mean, does Ramon Laureano draw in? Who do we think draws in for the starting lineup today. No lineup out yet for them. Just the news that Mullins is on the IL. Chandler Simpson got optioned down for the Rays too. So that's probably going to open up some ABs for Christopher Morel. That's good against a lefty with the Crawford boxes. While this draft crawls along, let's take a look at what Christopher Morel is in the pick'em lobbies here. 319. Not terrible. Not terrible for a dude who's a lefty killer with the Crawford boxes. Could sneak one out. He's also a damn near dead pull hitter. All those things line up decently. Obviously, a really tough matchup versus Frommer. As you guys can see, I got my schnauzers in. Some slow drafts there. Tyler's going to win the slate here, giving the alpha up. Dylan Carlson as his 1-for-1 swap. Carlson did hit quite high in the lineup and homered. I guess he had his first home run, or he was buried at the bottom of the lineup, hit his first home run of the season. That was maybe like, what, 5 days ago, something like that. And then they moved him up in the order following that. Yeah, this day against Boston, because I was looking at it there. So 4 games ago, 5 days ago. Yeah, and then he homered the next night once they moved him up in the order versus St. Louis at home. Dylan Carlson, people forget, once upon a time, a huge prospect that Baltimore was not willing, that Cardinals were not willing to include in the Juan Soto package. Crazy. We'll take O'Hearn here. We could take Ozuna, and then that becomes like a pretty ADP-esque team. I'm trying to think of what could be a better use of our draft capital. One-off Mike Trout? No. Michael Harris has been scuffling. All right, we're going to do it. We're going to stay within the confines of ADP for this one, and then we are going to scroll the F down at the pitcher slot. That's how we are going to diversify this one. Bowman Carlson autos back in the day. That's hilarious. Thought he was going to be the real deal. Car Park thought he was going to be the real deal. Yeah, Freeman's a lefty. So I think Nimmo will be down a bit, and they'll move up either Marte or Vientos. You know who they low-key kind of miss? Harrison Bader, dude. The Mets could use Harrison Bader. He's a better version of Tyrone Taylor. And they always try and sneak Tyrone Taylor in against a lefty for like 2 ABs, 2.5 ABs, you know? JD, JG, JD, D with all this stuff, asking if there's any new NFL best ball drafts dropping today. Not that I'm aware of. I imagine once the Hound Dog is gone, let's take a look here. Once the Hound Dog is gone and once the Pug is gone, there might be a little something coming, but super flex and the big contests for now. Tons of variety. You guys are truly sick if you're asking for even more right now. A little 50 max BBM format would be sick. Yeah. There's lots of ideas. Hope is cooking behind the scenes, guys. There's lots of fun ideas coming for the best ball NFL crowd. Lots of stuff coming. Chris takes Teoscar Hernandez there. The Seedmeister using Jan Mancada there. So he's doing an Angels 3-man. Angels 3-man without Mike Trout or Zach Neto or Taylor Ward. And doing a 2-man of the righties from the Mets. Very interesting. Seedmeister always builds very interesting teams. I'm always paying attention. Good player. Way more contrarian than the rest of you guys. the guys that he chooses as like strategically chooses as one-offs is like mind-blowing sometimes. And I really want to know why. I really want to know why. Because I think he's a really smart player. Or she. We don't even know. All right. Casey Mize to appease the chat. Mitch Keller to appease Nez. Let's do it for Nez. He's not here today. Let's do it for Nez. Mitch Keller. Mitch Keller. Probably not a guy who's going to break the ceiling on the slate. But if someone else builds this exact ADP team and then uses their 6th round pick on Seth Lugo, I think Mitch Keller could outscore Seth Lugo by 3 points, and that be the difference we need. Let's rip another one of those because that was way too chalky for my liking. Way too chalky. Yeah, we should go home run searching in the lobbies after this too. Some Arizona stuff, perhaps. See what Lars Nootbaar is looking like. See what some of that Baltimore stuff is looking like. What do you guys think, Dylan Carlson? Switch hitting Dylan Carlson. What do you think Dylan Carlson is in the lobbies for a home run? 5.27x. I've seen worse ideas. I've heard worse ideas. Oops. All right. Justin's in here with us. Turn Me Up's in here. Chris is in here again. The Saw Dog. The Saw Dog, baby. Saw Dog's hanging out in the chat and in the draft with us. Okay, we did Acuna last time. Let's do Corbin Carroll. I think Corbin Carroll's my 102. I think I like him more than I like Acuna today, but it's literally flipping coins between Judge, Acuna, and Carroll. And great coach. Is that Coach Nez? Oh, man. What were we talking about before? Yeah, we were talking about the Soto trade. So it's crazy. Cardinals don't want to include Dylan Carlson in the Soto deal. Never get Juan Soto. Juan Soto ends up going to San Diego, and San Diego gives up Abrams, Gore, Wood, and Hassel. Wild stuff. So one team doesn't part with a guy that they ended up, getting rid of 2 years later and was just instantly replaced by like Jordan Walker and some other guys, Whereas San Diego was like, here's all the best prospects in baseball. Take them. And then didn't re-sign Soto. Wild shit, man. Wild. Soto comes back to the Carroll drafter. Probably going to be a little bit rare in quotations, but I think it's a good reminder on slates like these to not get caught up in thinking what you think is combinatorially rare and falling into those patterns of drafting them. Let's take Pivetta because I think Pivetta is my favorite pitcher on the slate. I like the strikeouts. And then we'll take Gino, and then we'll mix in another contrarian 3-man or a contrarian 2-man and a 1-off, something like that. But we're taking only 35 plus guys from here on out. If you build baseball teams only based on projection, like you're going to get a whole bunch of like five-man one-off teams today on a slate like this because like Cruz is going to project so well. Guerrero is going to project so well. Tatis projects so well. Witt's going to project so well. You gotta color outside the lines here, guys. Ashton, you hang out here enough that you're learning baseball. Don't worry. I know you know some ball. You wish you knew it a little bit better. You know it plenty well. You're hanging out here. Don't be afraid to hop in these streets, get it done. Oh. What if Gino hits 4 bombs again? Exactly. What if, baby? And like baseball, so much of what drives projection is like based on what, well, I mean, this is gonna be like, duh, John, you idiot. Is like the inputs, right? So like what you value in your inputs will see certain things pop, right? And like Cardi's model is undoubtedly probably the best ever made for dailies, you know? Like that's just, yeah, it's the gold standard, right? But that doesn't mean it's like foolproof on a night to night basis, right? And other people's models that they have behind closed doors that they're working off of that or tweaking, you know, they're boosting iterations of it in different ways. Let's do the Cardinals thing. Let's do Newt Bar. He doesn't feel like a guy we use as a one-off, but we definitely could. Yeah, let's use Newt Bar as a one-off. What do you guys think? Arizona 3-man plus 2 one-offs, or Arizona 2-man, Newt Bar one-off, and then a contrarian 2-man. What sounds better to you guys? Someone say Benintendi. Little left-handed dong today. Cheeky. So cheeky. Let's stick to our guns, guys. Nobody is drafting Texas right now. Rake Burger. Always love playing Rake Burger against a lefty, even if said lefty induces a lot of ground balls. Let's get Rake Burger in here, and then let's get another lefty killer alongside him. Wyatt Langford would be the most obvious of the bunch, but there is one more on that team. I mean, we could also play Seager too, because like he's just underpriced for his talent level. We could do a little Josh Young here. A couple 36 flat ADPers. Let's get it. Let's see. Turn Me Up is doing a Baltimore infield thing. Love that with the Acuna. And then I imagine maybe another one-off outfielder, or might do like Michael Harris. Great Coach is doing. All right. He's doing contrarian one-offs, and then scroll the F down, Matthew Libator. Okay. Last night's champion, Justin, is doing Ohtani, a Boston double, and then a play the best plays. Ohtani, Witt, and Vlad. Frammer as SP1. Turn Me Up going with the Trent Grisham one-off. Wow. Sawdog is doing double Mets, Matt Olson BVP data, and then double Giants. Giants slowly becoming more popular as we stream. I think Ketel Marte would be fine here as well, and doing a 3-1-1. 3-1-1 traditionally shows higher win rates than a 2-2-1, but they're not that far apart. Opting for the 2-2-1 build here. Nick Pivetta as our SP1 on the slate here. Highest strikeout rate on the slate relative to sample size. Zebby Matthews has a higher one, but his sample size is really small. Gino and Corbin Carroll as our picks to click from that game. Jake Berger, a.k.a. Rake Burger, and Josh Young. And then Lars Nootbaar, who is popping in the hashtag John model and in the hashtag Cardi Bat X model as a one-off. I think we got to keep this pick'em streak alive, guys. We killed it in the pick'ems last night. I'm staring at this Dylan Carlson. Everyone in the chat's telling me to trust it. Trust our gut. The park factor for left-handed power here. Sean Burke has literally the worst fly ball percentage on the slate. What was it? Home run to fly ball that he was the worst on the slate? Home run to fly ball, he was not the worst on the slate. Fly ball percentage, he was third worst on the slate. So fly ball and hard hit. Hard hit, he was up there as well. 8th on the slate. So I think we kind of want to pick. We want to attack Jack Leiter here and Sean Burke, and maybe a little bit of attacking Zach Eflin too. Let's do this. Let's shoot the moon on the first one. Sorry, guys. I'm coughing like crazy out of nowhere. No idea what's going on. Lars Nootbaar and Dylan Carlson. We think Dylan Carlson moves up in the order in the absence of Cedric Mullins. Put one little BBM entry on that. Whatever you guys are comfortable with. Evergreen reminder that these are long shot ones, man. These are 45Xers, stuff like that. So unit size appropriate. Nootbaar. I'm seeing a Miguel Vargas call in the chat. He's been smoking hot. We're getting a 3-4 on Miguel Vargas. You guys want to know my fun White Sox stat of the day? Fun White Sox stat of the day is the leader in all of the MLB in stolen bases right now is the tool shed, Luis Robert Jr., who's hitting under 200, but running at will because they can't get anybody on base in front of him. Obviously prefer left-handed power in this ballpark, but I think doing a Miguel Vargas here, we could do it with the Carlton again, but I kind of want to like switch things up a little bit. We could do it with Mountcastle and do like double righties from there because we're going to get a better price. Because O'Hearn is going to be like a 2-4 guy. What do we got? Oh, 2-8 for O'Hearn. Okay. All right. If we're going to get 2-8 on O'Hearn and 3-2 on Mountcastle, I think we're going to take 2-8 on O'Hearn. I like this game for homers, guys. I just like the spot on both sides. We'll put that one in there. Wonky Blues wants us to shoot the moon and do Vargas and Carlson. Fine. Oh, wrong guy. Going back to the Miguel Vargas well. I wonder what Benintendi is. Get a 60X on that one. These are some big time moon shooters, guys. Big time moon shooters. Let's see what Benintendi gets. $4-3-4. You guys think he leads off today? Do we have a lineup from them yet? Probably doesn't lead off. Michael Talkman would be another one. What do you think? Let's take a look at this game in general. Gunnar Henderson with a 207. Holiday with a 3.8. Luis Robert with a 3.9. He's a little banged up right now, though. Wow, Mike Talkman. All right, let's do one more from this game. Mountcastle and Talkman. One lefty, one righty. Have a little fun. Mitch is in the chat calling that it's Mountcastle day. 3 or 4 hole for Benintendi. Okay. I'm good with it. Looks good to me. All right, guys. I think that concludes MLB. Unless we want to go home run searching one last time. I'll listen to the chat. This is a community. We'll play the best plays together. I wanted to check in on that Rake Burger price tag. 213. Don't think we can touch that. But this Josh Young one, we might be able to touch at the 311. Not amazing price tags there, though. What's Arizona doing? Let's take a look at the D-backs. Last little look here in terms of home runs. Pavin Smith with a 3.8. Perdomo with like a 6.8. Gurriel getting 4.29. I know it's righty-righty, but that's... Carroll's under 2. Gino getting a 2.75. Naylor with a 3.65. There's something here. Let me build the sheet and maybe report back in the Discord in a bit. Santander home run. Switch hitter. He's going to be batting right-handed to start. He's better from the left side. Gurriel. All right. Okay, last one. These are too fun. Community's telling me Gurriel and Anthony Santander price is not good. 213 is that doesn't feel like enough, guys. Colin, man. My guy, you haven't been around long enough. I know you remember. You haven't been around long enough. The Luis Robert goes way back. I know how it's pronounced. Don't you worry, my friend. We call him LBJ. We call him the Tool Shed. And we call him Luis Robert Jr. I know it's pronounced phonetically. I know it's pronounced Robert. And I know he's flip-flopped a couple times in his career. I appreciate you. Good looking out. Usually skip to NFL. Well, you're in luck, man. We're going to skip to NFL right now. We are going to skip to NFL right now. Wonky Blues is telling us a fantasy point slide. Okay, fantasy point sliders in general are fun. Let's see MLB fantasy points to see if there is one that we kind of like. Dude, okay, let's do the Matt Olson. Let's see what Matt Olson's getting for a tater here. Yeah, he's getting the 2-1 as well. Like Matt Olson getting the same price as Anthony Santander today. Like I just take Matt Olson every time. Okay. Let's do that. I like Santander as a pick for the daily games because he's contrarian more than the home run. There. Springer against Springs. Sherlock's saying is a better price tag. Okay. That could be a good one too. I hope they get Varsho back in there, lefty. He needs to get ABs versus lefties here. But yeah, maybe they just run it back yet again. We just got the White Sox lineup. And Vargas is hitting 3. Benintendi's hitting 4. Luis Robert is hitting 5th. Yeah. More or less exactly what we expected. All right, that concludes MLB for the day. Guys, I have saved one remaining Pug bullet for the community. I believe this is my last one. Last Pug. 20-second clock. Why not? Let's get in there. 10 spots. All community. Let's go. Let's get this. Let's fill this bad boy up with only community members. 8 more spots in the Pug. Hopefully you guys aren't sick enough to have used all your bullets yet. Don't tell me you guys used all your Pug bullets already before I could get in there. Seven more people. Gunnar, Olson, Carroll. feels good if we're not playing home runs. If we're playing home runs, I think those are like 3 of my favorite plays, but I feel like the price tags are there's like this delicate balancing act between are we priced appropriately or not in the pick'em lobby. And those ones seem appropriately priced to me. Okay, one more spot. I removed it from the screen for a half second. Don't worry, it's coming back. I got to switch browsers right now. Switch it up to the Firefox so that then we can get our little friend, the sidekick. We can get him in here with us. There we go. All right, here we go. Friends and family in here. Cutler for life, been around for a while. Who else we got? Hockey Hooligans in here. Pade's in here. Blake's in here. Respooked is in here. Here we go. If you are Ducks, if you are Hamlin Motorsports, if you are the Blue Dog 88, if you are Moss, say what up in the chat. Say what up. Tyler, first time drafting with the good people. Let's do this. Tyler, what's your screen name? Let's see. Do we look and see what our other Pug teams look like? I think they suck. They're not great, Bob. Who saw the one simple trick yesterday? There we go. Juan Torres, our guy. Juan, aka Juan with the OG stocks, rolls the 101. All right. Saquon Barkley is what they're telling me to do. It's Justin Jefferson season. It's Justin Jefferson season. All right, we got this thing back. Boom. All right, perfect. I think I have Saquon on my other one. All right. Tyler, how do I say your name? Is it just like Tyler? But like spelled out like that? Sporting the goat horns? It's like Tyler, and his name's Tyler. Good shit. I think this is an interesting debate. Blake takes Neighbors right there. I do like this Gibbs pick. I'm pretty hell-bent on the top 6 being the top 6. And then I'm kind of like, we can do whatever we want from like 7 to 14. Basically until like Achan. I don't think I'll be like the Bowers guy this year. Like, I just don't want to be the premium tight end guy right now. And it has nothing to do with Bowers. Yeah, just phonetically. Okay, got it. That's fun. Yeah, because if you look at ETR, they have a bullish stance on Amon-Ra up here at like 6. But if you look at Legendary Upside and some other resources, they really like Puka. You know, Puka and Neighbors in that grouping. My favorite builds thus far, though, they've definitely been like the right-hand side of the board, one running back, and then when you come back in the 5th, getting one of like Walker or like what's this second grouping? ADP. Like Chuba doesn't rarely makes it back, but if you can get like Walker to come back or Mixon to come back, sometimes you can pull up like Connor or Kamara, and you can have like 2 running backs and 3 wide receivers through the first 5 rounds, and you have a running back from the first round, like either Genty or CMC or one of the other fallers, and then you get it on the other side. I've also done CMC plus Achan quite a bit, and then stopped at 5 running backs. Yeah, that's kind of where I've been at so far. Bowers falls to 21 in this room. Respooked pulls up T. Higgins. Achan falls all the way to 22. Sidekicks telling me Bucky Irving, Trey McGronk, or Josh Jacobs. Rankings are telling me Bucky Irving. Let's do the Bucky Irving pick. Let's do the Bucky Irving pick and see if we can start, let's see if we can do like the 2-3 start, but from the left side of the board here. Oh man, I do really like the right-hand side of the board right now. All right, let's take Jacobs here. I like Jacobs more than most people do. And, if people remember last year, like me, Nez, and Hayden were like the Jacob guys pounding the table. Ooh, look at this. Big play. Big play Carno going 3 RB start. Would you guys shut it down and make that a 4 RB team? I think I would. If you go Saquon, Achane, Chase, I think you can just shut it down at 4. And you take like Tony Redacted. Maybe that's even a little bit too much capital. You take like RB 32. Jalen Warren, Jordan Mason, Cam Scatabo. Get the boys mounted up. You add Cam to that room, and you just won the Pug. That's the approach. Seeing this Lamar going over Josh Allen a good amount and paired with Derrick Henry, something we talked about in the dailies a lot last year was like the negative correlation of pairing them together, and then they won a couple slates together. They won a major primetime palooza. There's a primetime palooza. Obviously, raw points just mean so much more on a primetime palooza. But I was going back through some of the research from last year, and primetime palooza, there was a Lamar, Justice Hill, Derrick Henry, and like Likely won a primetime palooza together. And Justice Hill was like a scroll the F down who wasn't like routinely getting drafted. Man, this is a good start. No bye week overlaps. You get Bucky and Jacobs. We can shut it down at running back at 5 with that start, as long as we get another one in kind of like that round 8, round 9 bucket. I've been doing a lot of phone shitter bro drafting, and like just doing off ranks and vibes, and then an hour later doing a draft with the sidekick, with the solver, like something like that, and seeing like where my mindset differs from the tools. It's kind of an interesting exercise if you guys have access to the tools. That's a nice little fall there to get DJ Moore all the way back. Sidekick is telling me Zay Flowers. My brain can't shut off the fact that we're getting this week 17 correlation with JMO. JMO go Burr. Let's take JMO. JMO and Jefferson is probably going to be pretty chalky on the left side of the board, but it might just be like good chalk. And Nez sold us that pen yesterday on JMO changing his number to number 1. Hampton is a guy that I always see paired with Saquon for whatever reason. Obviously not in this draft, but like I see like Hampton, like people think it's like a tier break, and Hampton goes there like so frequently. DK Metcalf in the terms of ranks, Cortland Sutton from the sidekick. I'm going to scroll, guys. I'm going to scroll. I'm scrolling the F down. It's Jalen Waddle season. And I don't know who needs to hear this. It is Jalen Waddle in the 5th round season. It is, yeah, Sidekick clearly doesn't know JMO's number change yet. Cespiad saying that he's got so much of Jalen Waddle plus JMO. Just drafted a Saquon plus Hampton team. It feels like a tier break, and people always take the Hampton paired with Saquon. And like pairing like the rookie with Saquon feels good to people. Matt, I was historically out on Jalen Waddle last year. I was historically out on him. I thought the price tag was too high. I didn't think the offense was as good as people were thinking. I thought it was like 3 mouths to feed early. I didn't see the Jonnu Smith stuff coming. Don't get me wrong. But like I was kind of out on it, right? I'm in this year. Like targets per route run and stuff like that. Like he's still talented. He's still fast. But the off-field stuff with Tyreek Hill could not age well, potentially. One avenue. He's also getting paid like he's one of the most expensive players. Here, let's double check my math. Wide receiver contracts. Like his annual. Let's see his average. Waddle is the 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I'm just realizing I'm in a different browser and you guys cannot see this. Apologies. Give me 1 second. Waddle is the 12th highest paid wide receiver in football last year. And his average salary is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10th in AVV. I don't know, man. Hashtag follow the money. Can Tua stay healthy for more than 14 games? Please, one time. And then, and then you throw this. Jonnu potentially getting out of town. Do you think that was more about not wanting to pay Jonnu, freeing up some cap relief because he wanted a raise, and then trying to find a potential trade suitor for him? Or do you think that was Arthur Smith going, you know what makes Arthur Smith offenses go burr? Jonnu Smith. We need Jonnu Smith, right? Like, what do you guys think on that? Phone shitter bro. Carolina Hawks. Carolina and Seahawks. I don't know what the acronym is. But yeah, something about like shit hawks or something like that. I don't know. Or like a canary like eating the bird or something like that. It's Carolina versus Seattle in week 17 though. That's all you need. Okay, we got to start thinking here. This is a good start. I like the start. We can double down with like David Montgomery and do a Detroit thing here. We could double down with Laporta and set up the double stack. I like Jaden Reed. Let's do Jaden Reed. I think I'm team unpopular opinion, and maybe this is because I'm a boomer ass old head who has to see it to believe it. But like I'm low key team Jaden Reed over Golden right now. And that might be a fish take. That might be a fish take. Oh, Greg Olsen revenge. Caleb Johnson goes there. Dude's getting some steam right now. Johnson is getting some steam right now. All right. I think we got to do the teammate thing. I like the pocket of tight ends later more than this, but I think we got to set up the Goff double. I think we got to do it. Oh, I missed the click. Oh, no, guys. I was too slow. All right, David Montgomery. It's okay. It's okay. This is no longer a Goff team. Week 17. We need JMO from distance. 4 receptions, 136 yards, and 2 scores. And then we need 2 at the goal line, David Montgomery pounding it in, which means we need a quarterback from a different game environment. Justin Jefferson scores 3 touchdowns on the bring back. Easy game. Easy game. Pug champion right here. Yeah, so the Dolphins have to cut cap, whether it's Ramsey or Tyreek. Like I was a big proponent of Tyreek getting traded. Like I was, you guys can go back to the Gal Brain episode of pre-draft, and we were doing all the crazy shit. And obviously all those landing spot things just get thrown out the window once the Jags move up and flip the whole board. They move up to 2 and take Travis Hunter and flip the board. But like my big thing I just realized I'm not on the board for you guys. Apologies. There you go. Better viewing experience. I think it could still happen, man. I think you could still trade Tyreek. Someone somewhere is going to take that swing on Tyreek. The problem is he's like the 8th highest paid wide receiver in the league, who's like 30. What is he, 31? How old's Tyreek? 31. Nailed it, obviously. Don't even need to Google it. Not a big deal. Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, back to this start. This Waddle one. Waddle pairs nice with Bucky too for that week 17, right? That little battle, Florida. We get Miami and Tampa. We don't need to full game stack it. Now we got a little Green Bay correlation with Reed plus Jacobs. We got David Montgomery plus JMO. And then we're going to find quarterbacks to stack in the back end here. Not a huge proponent of stacking Josh Jacobs with a passer. He scored his first ever receiving touchdown last year. People forget. And they obviously want a role for Lloyd or insert other pass catching running back who spells. I'd rather pair that person than Jacobs with Love. This is a fun start. RMC cover is a fun start. All right, here we go. Steven, GM, my friend. All right. Oh my God, respooked. This is the new price, guys. This is the new price. 92 for the Scata boys. Scata boys, mount up. All right. This is a pocket that I love taking tight end. Ducks already has a tight end, so I don't think we have to worry about it. Let's take Cooper Kupp. Let's take Cooper Kupp, man. He falls all the way back to 95. Maybe he's washed. Whatever. Give us a back stack here. Maybe he's washed. Maybe he's washed. I don't know. All right. I think we can. I like this pocket for tight end. We could do the Jonnu and set up the double with Waddle, but he might be moving teams. We could take Kelsey or Andrews. I'm good with both. Or we could take naked Justin Fields. Naked Justin Fields versus the Patriots, week 17, running all over their asses. We don't need any correlation for that one. Maybe we add like a Mason Taylor later. Let's do it. Let's do it. I do think this is a sweet spot, though. Like, what are we at? 105, 106, something like that? Not quite. We're at 101. I do think this next, like round 10, 11, 12, or 9, 10, 11 in particular, I want to get a tight end and I want to get a quarterback in that range. That feels like the sweet spot right now in BBM, in the Pugs, in whatever. When we get later into the season, these quarterbacks and these tight ends in this range, they're going to start pushing up. They're going to start pushing up. And that's why right now I'm really happy having 3 quarterback teams or 3 tight end teams and still taking one in this like range. Because traditionally speaking, you take Travis Kelce or you take Mark Andrews, like that's a 2 tight end build. That's a 2 tight end build. But given the capital that we're spending for those archetype of players right now, I'm still fine taking 3 because if you scroll the F down to the 18th round here and you go in like the 214s, we scroll down in terms of like ADP and ranking and whatever down here. Like Malik Washington, I don't know, does he even have a job? Like Pat Bryant, who knows? Dontavian Wicks, does he even make the team? I would love him to make the team. I think he's a fine click right now, but like they got a log jam at wide receiver, especially if Kristen Watson's timeline is half decent. You know, like Keyshawn Boutte does like, what is his ceiling outcome this year? 68 fantasy points, 85 fantasy points. Like, just give me some of these tight ends in the last round stacked up with my quarterbacks. Like Juwan Johnson, for instance. Like, if we want to go play the contract game again, let's go check out the tight ends. Taysom Hill still getting paid. Juwan Johnson, 12th highest paid tight end in the league. In terms of average salary, he is about the same, about 12. Noah Fant's a cut candidate or will be a cut candidate. Like follow the money. Follow the money. They signed him last year. They lost Taysom Hill. I'll take a swing on Juwan Johnson in the last round over, some of these whack-a-mole backfields of guys who, this year's Kamani Vidal, And I know the running back class was better this year than last year, but still. All right. Sidekick is telling us love for the correlation. I said I didn't want to do the love stuff. Sharps with Cooper Kupp. Sharps with Cooper Kupp. Make a little Seattle bet here. We could still do some Bryce Young on the back end of this. What's Tua's ADP? I know we don't have to stack that game. Love, JJ, or Tua? Sidekick is telling us to get ahead of our stacks here. What are those ADPs? Drake May is right here. I don't want to stack 2 quarterbacks from the same game. Love, I don't love with Jacobs. Should we do McCarthy? Let's do McCarthy. Let's do McCarthy. We might have been able to push it one more round and take like Christian Kirk there or take a shot at the Jags backfield. Tootin had already gone, but ETN you could have taken a shot on. Could have done Ramondre for the week 17 with Justin Fields, but that might not even be his backfield by then. I think JJ was a good pick. JJ to JJ, Jefferson, and David Montgomery on the ring back. T-Bear telling me not to sleep on D-Hop. Ooh. That's a free backdoor stack for your Lamar teams. ADP of 178. Is DeAndre Hopkins a Hall of Famer? Like, I think he's a Hall of Famer, right? DeAndre Hopkins a Hall of Famer. I don't know. I think the Hall of Fame debates are so dunce cap, but like, he's got to be, right? No, I got no bookmarks because I never used this Firefox tab. Let's see. Almost 13,000 yards in his career, almost 1,000 receptions, 83 touchdowns, 13.2 yards per reception. Wow. Wow. 5-time Pro Bowler. Pro Bowlers are so like I hate when we have to cite Pro Bowls as like reference because so many guys make the Pro Bowl or like the rules have changed so much where like guys opt out. Jet saying no. Ashton says he has to be. What up, AMAC? Yeah, T Bear thinks New Orleans is tanking for Archie's grandson. That's kind of sick. If Love came back there, I think I would have taken him. Should we get a piece of that Philly Buffalo game? What about Dallas Washington? Should we get a piece of that one? We're leaving the light on here to take Mason. I think we got to take a tight end. Sidekick says Ferg. Okay. I don't have a ton of Ferg yet. I've been taking Goddard over Ferguson. Sidekick's telling me Ferguson. We're going to trust the sidekick here. Should we be the Kyle Pitts guys and just run it back? I think this is a 3 tight end team for sure. It's only a 5 running back. I mean, honestly, we could maybe stop at 4 running backs on this team. Bucky, Jacobs, David Montgomery, Sharps. Probably want a 5th running back, to be honest. Thielen goes there. Trey Benson feels fine. Not like a huge Benson. Sidekick wants us still to stack Tua and take 3 quarterbacks. That seems like a lot of draft capital, does it not? Let's take Kyle Pitts. Spicy margs all around. That's my first Kyle Pitts share this year. I think this is the sweet spot. Big play takes Tua probably as the Tyreek drafter. Oh, no, the HN drafter. That's what it was. I think that's fine. One little mini stack that I keep getting right now is Mahomes plus Kelsey because I think it's underpriced, and then adding Hollywood Brown after. So I did that one last night a couple times. And then another one that I keep getting is Christian Kirk plus CJ Stroud. And then you can add Jalen Noel after too. So this mini, like Respooked has right here, Christian Kirk at like 125, and then add CJ Stroud after. I like that one. Mahomes feels mispriced. Yeah, I feel it. Jet, roll the tape back, dude. We did an hour of baseball already. Full breakdown. Everything. All of it, my friend. Blake with the Rockwell. There's too many people in the Hall of Fame. Strongly disagree. Blake. They only induct like 6 players a year or something in the NFL Hall of Fame. And almost every one of them is worthy. Baseball, there's not enough. Relative to the amount of people who have played the game before, there's not enough. If you want to fight on like diversifying player archetypes that are in the Hall of Fame, because like a wide receiver who plays like 8 years and has like a bunch of flashy stats, or maybe a running back's like a better comp. Like a running back who plays like 8 flashy years will get Hall of Fame buzz. But like if you're a left guard or left tackle, you got to play like 16 years and not miss a game. So there is like gray areas where like, you know, things should be leveled a bit in that. But no, I think there's an appropriate amount of people. Cody saying wide receivers a log jam to get in the Hall. Yeah, it makes sense. Is there a waiting term? There must be like a 3-year wait after you retire to get in the Hall of Fame or 4-year. Like I know MLB, it's like a 5-year wait or something, and then you get put on the ballot. Ooh, Will Shipley getting pushed up. Wow. People getting thirsty for the running backs out here. Jalen Noel. Joshua Palmer. Didn't we do something with some week 17 there? No? All right. We need a wide receiver, professional ass. Joshua Palmer. We are being told. What's Mason Taylor's ADP? 182? I think it's Mason Taylor time. Does he come all the way back to us? 191? Probably not. You don't have to stack Justin Fields, but if we're going to run a naked... This is interesting. A little bit of rookie wide receiver upside is intriguing as well. All right. Let's trust the sidekick here. We're out of our depth. Let's take Jalen Noel, like almost 20 picks past ADP. Not actually. 13 picks past ADP. Joshua Palmer was a AWU as well, past ADP. And then if Mason Taylor comes back, great. If Mason Taylor doesn't come back, we're going to have Cade Otton. We're going to have Dalton Schultz for a little bit of Houston double stuff. We're going to take one more running back on this team for sure. And maybe one more quarterback. Do we need another quarterback? I don't know. We're getting into that territory of the draft where it's kind of like, structurally speaking, I'll probably be closer to like 2-6-8-2 at the tail end of BBM season than I currently am right now. So like, why not just do like a mini Chuck plus Juwan Johnson? Or why not do... Yeah. AMAC says Hockey Hall of Fame does it right. What's the difference, AMAC? What's the difference in Hockey Hall of Fame doing it right versus other sports? What's the difference? Torrey Holt, Reggie Wayne, and Hines Ward, Steve Smith are still waiting. Wow. Gun to my head, I would have said at least 2 of those 4 were Hall of Famers. Huh. And that's because Megatron got in this year, right? Or was it last year? Megatron jumped the line. Does Julio? Does he jump the line? Torrey Horton. Tyler's an absolute ball knower out here. All right. We got to come up with a plan here. We got to come up with a plan real quick. Wow. The backup plan just went away too. Juwan Johnson's gone. Mason Taylor's gone. The backup play just went away too. Sam Darnold sees on. Sam Darnold sees on. We got 2 Seattle pieces already. No bye week overlaps. We got to take one running back here. We're probably going to be done at tight end there with just Ferg and Pitts then. We got to take a running back here. They're telling me tight end. Chig. Woody Marks. Let's take Hunter. Someone smart was talking about the Rams the other day and how, it was another week 8 bye. Oh, the bye week bros are going to be all over me. Oh, no respect for winning week 8 right now. Oh, you hate to see it. This is why you stick to the sidekick suggestions. All right. Guys, I'm taking votes in the chat. 3572. Do we need another tight end or another wide receiver on this team? Tight end or wide receiver? Put it in the chat. Fields, McCarthy, Darnold. Bucky, Jacobs, Demont, Sharps, Hunter. That's strong. I wish this Hunter pick wasn't the same bye week, though. I panicked. 20-second shot clock got to my head there. Justin Jefferson and JMO, week 17. Reed correlates with Jacobs. Waddle correlates with week 17 with Bucky Irving. We got 2 Seattle pieces. We could do a little cheeky bring back from Carolina. Carolina bring back here. That's a good way to land the plane. Elijah Aroro as another stack partner to Seattle could land the plane. Professional ass wide receiver Joshua Palmer. Jalen Noel as a 13 picks passed. How are we landing this plane? Zachary says wide receiver, and he's the only guy voting. Steven saying it's got to be Cokehead season, Jalen Coker. Royu. Wide receiver. Yami Brown. JT Sanders. The community is split. Coker correlates for the game in week 17. What's De'Ami Brown got? De'Ami Brown. Jags, Indy. That could be a fun game. Jags, Indy, week 17. Week 17 times 3 for Jalen Coker. He's the leader in the clubhouse, according to the caddy. Dontavian Wicks, we have teammates with. Ty Felton, we could double stack up JJ McCarthy. That's a good backup plan. I took Nick Westbrook-Akine last night too. I did the same thing as Big Play did there with the Tua plus HN and then tacked him on. All right, wide receiver it is. We're banking on Ferg and Kyle Pitts. Let's take Jalen Coker on the bring back. Little bring back off of our Seattle week 17 double stack. You know what the bros won't tell you either? The bros won't tell you. The bros won't tell you that there's a little bit of a bonus here, guys. There's a little bit of a bonus when you're scrolling. Where was it? There it is. There at the top. There's a little bit of a bonus here to winning the projected points in the lobby. And if you take a third quarterback, you always win the projected points in the lobby. It's the Gill thesis. The Gill thesis that you win your lobby by winning the projected points. Methinks we might have won the projected points here. All right. A 3-5-8-2. You guys have heard my thoughts on the 2 running backs in the first 5 picks being one of my favorite builds right now. Also, given the price tags on the tight ends and the and the quarterbacks, I am gravitating to spending 5 picks at the onesies a lot right now, either 3 and 2 or 2 and 3. sometimes, occasionally 3-3. But I really like this team. I really like this team. I'll read it out, and then we got to say on the sucks or fucks scale what we're working with. Justin Fields, JJ McCarthy, Sam Darnold. All different bye weeks. Bucky Irving, Josh Jacobs, Demont, Zach Charbonnet, and Hunter. Jarquez Hunter. I fucked up that pick. That Hunter pick, we can go back in time and look at in a second. Justin Jefferson, J-Mo, Waddle, Reed, Cup, Palmer, Noel, Coker. I love that wide receiver room. I want to be high. I want to be a Waddle guy this year. I want to be a Reed guy. I'm fine with Cooper Cup when he falls, 8 to 10 picks. Not trying to get out over my skis on it. We get a little bit of value at the back end with some ADP fallers. ADP, kind of doesn't matter right now, but sure. And then we get 2 tight ends who, both have top 10 in range outcomes. And we just need a little bit of help there with Ferg and Pitts. Does it suck or does it fuck? Me thinks this one fucks. I think this one's good, dude. I think this one's good. I think the only places we could have gone differently, we could have done the Tua instead of Pitts and then turned it into a 3-3 build. But how much better is Tua than Sam Darnold for our team here? I don't know. Probably a little bit better, especially if we're making the Waddle bet earlier. So we could have pivoted there. The other pivot we could have done, I like the spot for Sharbs. I think that's fine. I would have preferred Tootin for like a ceiling shot to go along with Bucky and those guys. I think we could have pivoted here on this Hunter pick, but maybe we're just fighting over zeros. Like J.K. Dobbins is probably a better pick than Hunter right here for our team, right? Maybe not. Maybe not. Not bad. I think it's pretty good. I think it does fuck. Brett Boy likes it. That's all that matters. Main difference in the Hall of Fame is 3 seasons versus 4/5 to be eligible earlier and a smaller committee. Okay. All right. Tyler, good draft, my friend. Good draft. Good luck this evening to you too. Nice draft, Steven saying. Still have 2 wide running backs playing in week 8. It's true. It's true. Thank you, sir. Noah's asking if we can get a head start, a first look at the NBA Extendor. Not yet, my friend. I got to wait for the lineups. We got to wait for what's going down. Not yet. I'll post an Extendor in the chat. Riley says he likes the draft. Thank you for joining, sir. That was fun. All right, guys, let's tie a bow on it. If you're just joining now, hit the like, subscribe, notification bell, all that fun stuff. Final show of the week here. We will have, I promise we got to make good. We got some new, actually, let me just tease a little something. We got some new scheduling programming coming up soon. We're definitely going to have a little bit more of like the videos living on the channel kind of thing. And in tandem with some pre-recorded stuff, might start doing some paywall pre-recorded for some of these slates. And then doing like an hour and a half live, but then having like a 45-minute paywall only for baseball or for WNBA or for whatever. So thinking out loud with some things coming for the Membies in the future here, but we got some fun stuff coming. But this will be the final show for this week. Back on Monday. Everybody have a good, fun, safe weekend. Good luck in the lobbies, in the streets out here. Reminder, the baseball slate is locking at 4:30 Eastern, 1:30 Pacific. So get in there early. There was a mix-up with one of the games on MLB's side, not on Underdog's side. And they had to push a game forward to make sure they got it in for rain purposes. So if you want to get in the baseball lobbies, get in there now. Get in there now. That's where you will find me for the next 2 hours here. Probably rip a couple more football drafts this evening. I think I got one more hound dog to do, so I'll be in there. And yeah, best of luck to everybody on the platform here. Congratulations to those who played alongside the Pick'em glory that was last night in the NBA streets. Hopefully run it back this weekend and run it back with some of the dong picks we had earlier. All right, everybody's favorite time of the show. The end. Peace.